we say aloha and mahalo to founding original member and guitarist of the Dead Kennedys, East Bay Ray. Aloha, Brother Ray.
Well, aloha to Hawaii.
Nice to be speaking with you. Thank you very much for taking a few moments. It's a great privilege.
Good.
We are looking forward to your visit. What's your background, Ray, with Hawaii? Have you ever been here?
Yes, I've been there several times. And interesting story, as a matter of fact, when I was a kid, my younger brother and I, my parents went to Hawaii and took us to. And we went to Maui and we spent a month in Hana.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is, back then was way out there. It was before the road was fixed. But it was neat. And since I've been back to Hana twice. Not for a month, though. But
so it made a mark on you. And describe that. About how old were you and why Hana?
Well, my parents, I guess a friend of my dad's knew of a house to rent there. So he talked my dad into doing it, and so we had a vacation there.
Okay, and so you guys came there from the Bay Area, and you went with your family. You did a whole month, and how old were you?
I can't remember, but it was, I don't know, before high school, I think.
Okay, like middle school or something. What's an enduring memory of that first experience here in the islands?
Well, it was very quiet there, but I really liked it. The house had a Japanese guy that was kind of the caretaker, and he actually would go up the tree and get a coconut and bring it down and break it open and give us coconut milk, and then he showed us how to make, put the coconut, the meat, I guess, in the oven to make kind of dry it out and roast it, I guess. I don't know. And we went swimming at the beaches, and I guess it's the seven sacred pools down the road.
Right.
Yeah. So it was, and even one time, since we were there, my dad took my brother and I to a local dance, but we were kind of like the only howlies there. But people were friendly. But
listen to you with all the words and stuff. Describe the dance that your dad took you to.
Oh, that's the only thing I remember is my brother we were just like being wallflowers watching everything.
So that's very cool. And then you've come back a few times. I always just like to trace artists' connections to the state. I'm sure you can appreciate that. We're in a sort of an isolated place, and it means something to people, especially the unique, as you pointed out, kind of unusual story you've had. So you've gone back only to Maui, or have you done other islands?
No, I've been to the Big Island, I guess 2 or 3 times, and Kauai I've been to, I guess, once. Maybe twice, I can't remember. And Oahu, I don't go there that much anymore. Been there 2 or 3 times too. And I mean, I really like Hawaiian music, and I have a lot of Hawaiian. Well, like I have some vinyl from thrift stores and some CDs, and I remember one time I was in Kona. It's probably in the 90s. Kona, there was a hotel that had they had kind of, not the hotel I was staying at, but they had a Hawaiian music show, and it was, I forget the guy's name, but it was basically he was doing more authentic Hawaiian rather than the tourist lounge Hawaiian.
Right.
So, the guys were doing the men were doing the hula, which I guess is traditional. Yeah,
you don't see the men doing exactly right. That's the real thing there.
Yeah, right. It was like a younger guy, and he was the bass player, and they had some other things, but he was had a group of people that were like studying it the more original form, so to speak. And it was really, really good, and that always remember. I tell people to go try to find it if it's still there. So, but I love swimming, so Hawaii's a great place to swim, and I like the music, and so I keep going back.
No, that's very happening. And I'm correct in saying the Kennedys have never played here?
No, we've never played there. Correct. It's the first time we played, and I guess I was the instigator behind that.
Oh, it was you.
And with the offer, and I said, "Come on, let's do it.
Well, with that month on Hana, man, you've really, obviously, you've got a connection here that surpasses the average bear.
Yeah, that was out there, and I remember last time I was there, that was the friend. I said, my parents had my brother and I. We spent a month here, and she said, "Well, that sounds like child abuse." I said, "Well, actually, we liked it."
That's very happening. What a nice thing. You got good folks doing that. Run through, besides DH and yourself, who else is in the band, and kind of paint a little bit of their background, if you don't mind, for folks.
Well, Skip McSkipster was the singer for the Winona Riders here in the Bay Area. They were on Lookout Records for a while before Lookout kind of had financial problems. Actually, the Winona Riders had recorded a whole CD, and then Lookout kind of were overextended, so their CD got shelved. But they were pretty popular here in the Bay Area. Plus, they had some, I think they had some singles out, so they're kind of known. And then Greg Reeves is filling in for Klaus. Klaus is unfortunately couldn't make these tours, but I think he's actually, I just talked to him yesterday, and he sounds like he's things are coming together for him, so he's going to be back in the fold very soon. But Greg Reeves is both a friend of mine and Klaus's, and he's a great bass player, and so we asked him to fill in, and he agreed to. So.
Nice. And so you're predicting having Klaus back in the group, though, huh? What's the story? Like, how soon, and for more, like, maybe some recording, or what do you think? Just touring?
Probably touring for Dead Kennedys. I think probably by December. By December is what we're looking at this point for Klaus to return. And Greg Reeves is also in my new band, The Killer Smiles. Oh,
that's convenient. Tell me a little bit about them.
The Killer Smiles is, basically it started Skip and I. Basically, we were doing the Dead Kennedy tours, and they were going really well. I mean, Skip is one of the best singers we've had, and we've been selling out shows in London and Los Angeles and New York, and I wanted to do new music, and so did Skip. Because he was. So we recorded The Killer Smiles. We have just started a Facebook page with one track up. It's called East Bay Ray and The Killer Smiles, and it's trying to capture the energy of the Dead Kennedys and rock and roll, but have the lyrics be a little more poetic and less journalistic. If that makes sense. So they're not so they can apply to different situations. Not that's the difference between poetry and journalism. Journalism is very specific, while poetry can apply to different situations and relationships. And Paul Leary from the Butthole Surfers and Sublime fame is producing the record.
Oh, he's a good guy.
Yeah. We actually do, well, maybe I shouldn't say this, but we do one or two of the songs in the Dead Kennedy set. Nice.
No, it's nice to give a little plug for that. That's cool.
We did it it's fresh new music. We played them in London, and we played them at the House of Blues in L.A., and had a really, really enthusiastic response. Plus, we're also playing the Dead Kennedy classics.
Right. No, and I'm looking forward to hearing a little bit about that. On that note, in fact, it was you who started everything with an ad that you placed back in 1978. I was hoping you could sort of tell that as a story for us and how it came together.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was in San Francisco. There's a club there called Mabuhay Gardens, which was the local punk club. And I think it was the Weirdos from Los Angeles. And the little hairs in the back of my neck stood on me and said, "This is what I want to do." So I put an ad in a local paper, and then there was a local record store, Aquarius Records, and then Rasputin in Berkeley. And, people called, Biafra called, and Klaus called. And we got together and started writing songs. And actually my garage in the East Bay, the garage has since been torn down. So started in a garage.
That should have been like a landmark.
Well, nobody knew at the time, I guess.
You call it National Historic Registry, Ray.
So, and then, so we put together a tape and a picture for the Mabuhay and started playing there. And then I got the band to record our first single, California Uber Alles and Man with the Dogs. And and then Biafra came up with the plan to run for mayor. So we did a benefit and promoted that, and so things kind of took off from there.
And explain for me a little bit how the name itself. Where did it come from?
It comes from a friend of Biafra's in Colorado, and the name meant to signify America losing its ideals and dreams. During the late 50s and early 60s, America was facing these challenges of racism and equal opportunity in front of the law, and John Kennedy kind of came in and was breathing fresh air and hope into people. And we also had like Martin Luther King, who's one of my idols. And then by the middle of the 60s, all those people were assassinated, and with it, America's optimism kind of got assassinated.
So in some ways, it's definitely. How about Robert Kennedy? Was he a hero in some ways to you too?
Yeah, right. He heard all the members of the band, and the same thing. He didn't get this chance as much as JFK and Martin Luther King, but it's actually a tribute to their ideals and America's ideals, really, and the fact that that those ideals were the right wing had with their violence and hate rhetoric. Are you going to be able to edit this?
Oh, don't you worry about that, my friend.
Their hate rhetoric, triggered crazy people to do violence. Kind of some of that's going on nowadays too, and it was kind of a tribute to the ideals of America, and not as a put down of the Kennedy family.
Well put, and I've basically heard it before, but to hear it from you, obviously, is the goal of any reasonable interviewer. But with that sort of philosophy in mind, thinking about it the way you've just dissected things. Actually, two things. Before I get to the next question, there's something as you talk that came to my mind. I don't want to miss an opportunity to discuss it with you. You talked about it was sort of like us versus them with the Kennedys and the liberal and left on one side, and then this right-wing thing on the other side. What do you have to say about the military-industrial establishment? Do you think there's any sort of connection between that and JFK's demise?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not really much into conspiracy theories.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's, there are conspiracies, but there needs to be proof. I'm kind of tired of people thinking their opinion is right when they don't know many facts. It's okay to have an opinion, but you kind of need to study the facts before you have an opinion. Not have an opinion and then select the facts to fit the opinion. That's kind of what Fox News does.
Sure.
And in the long run, it's going to be trouble, because if you base your decisions on fallacies and things that are untrue, reality is going to come up and bite you.
So, I guess I'm just saying there was, when Eisenhower himself left the office, I guess I would take it basically not so much from conspiracy, but more from a president departing the office and saying on camera, on the record, that we can study for decades and decades since then, the threat of this giant thing occurring, which I guess in a lot of ways, when you talk about the end of that era of the Kennedys, it leaves room for that military-industrial thing that Eisenhower so eloquently spoke of to emerge.
Well, right. The classic case was George Bush going into Iraq, spending billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. And they all kept it off the books, and put this country in bigger debt than it's ever been. I think, from what I understand, the debt's bigger than World War II at this point.
Yeah, you would think that it would be.
Yeah, and it's basically a civil war situation. Well, number one, they went into the wrong country. There was no weapons of mass destruction, and there was no Al Qaeda in there, and they basically created an Al Qaeda in Iraq. Which people are going to have to pay for generations. And Dick Cheney is richer than than anybody.
Yeah, I know, huh? We all need to make our own little private company like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you think, I just had to get into a little bit with you because of the nature of who you guys are and your, sort of insightful, satirical, and deeper lyrics that you've offered through these years.
Mm-hmm.
And on the opposite side of that is sort of the sound that you've brought to music. What artists had you, Ray, first listen to, and at what age did music kick in for you?
Wow. Well, I was kind of raised with music. My dad he used to have a collection of 78s of like 30s country blues. And he also was really into like the Duke Ellington and Count Basie type bands. And my mother was into Pete Seeger and the Weavers,
mm-hmm.
and Frank Sinatra. And
eclectic.
What?
Eclectic on Mom's side there.
Yeah. So I was, there was a lot of music around my house. So I guess. So that was it. And then, like, the older teenagers in the neighborhood, bought records at, those old 45s with the big holes in the middle.
Love those things.
Yeah, right. And so the people would play it around there. And so I remember my dad took me to see Lightning Hopkins when I was a kid.
Nice.
Yeah, and Count Basie.
Good dad.
Never saw Duke Ellington. Yeah.
Good for you with it, because there is always then that jazz flavor too. So we're really getting into the roots here. So I'm getting the jazz and stuff from your dad, early concert experiences. How about a first record?
Oh, first record? Oh, boy.
Or records. We can put an S on it to give some variety.
Well, it's hard to say because like some of the older teenagers in the neighborhood moved away and went to college and kind of left their records, and I kind of became a caretaker of them, so to speak, I guess.
I like that.
Yeah. Boy, I can't.
Just trying to paint a picture, I guess, Ray, of where sonically your unique pioneering sound came from. You're a unique cat, and it's just fun to just peek behind the curtains.
Well, it's well, the people I like, I kind of like I didn't like 70s music that much, though I've come to learn to like AC/DC. I was at the time I was listening to kind of going back, rummaging through thrift stores and also the kids in my neighborhood like 60s music. So Syd Barrett from Pink Floyd was a big influence, and though I never bought any or really listened to it, I guess some of the 60s surf stuff creeped in, but that's because I was born in California and raised here. So
right.
So I guess that was subconscious. And also I guess the blues that my dad played. Oh, that's right. We made my dad take us to go see Muddy Waters.
Dude, you are a ferocious animal with that kind of talk.
But he did. He thought that was too modern and electric. My dad did, but but he could explain where the riffs and songs came from.
What a musical education! What other shows with your pop? I'm like getting kind of excited by all these shows he was taking you to.
Well, those are the two I remember.
Okay.
Muddy Waters and Lightning Hopkins and Count Basie. I think
that's good stuff.
Pretty much it.
Good man.
He would take us to rock and roll shows and drop us off, but then he would pick us up. But I can't really remember all that stuff.
No, it's cool. You painted some nice stuff. And a final note before I sort of let you go here, because I'd be just curious where it is after all that's going on. Your relationship with Jello, describe it.
He's in denial. I mean, the basic thing is he was putting out our records and basically skimmed, I think it was $70,000 from the band, to pay himself and run the label. And a general manager of the label kind of blew the whistle on him, and we tried to negotiate, but he was basically, thought he could do no wrong. He was infallible like the Pope, and he what he did is he said, "Well, I'll give you the $70,000 if you sign to my label, forever, for life, and for the world, the band." And we said, "No, that money's owed to us because you skimmed it." And subsequently, there was a court trial, and he lost and was ordered to pay it, and he eventually paid it. It's a case of a record label ripping off musicians.
And you and he today have zero relationship, or?
Well, we still have the band partnership, but there's a third party that deals with them. We vote on stuff, and Biafra still votes and all that.
Interesting. So you don't have any...
All his emails about stuff is like, it's not enough money. As long as the public doesn't see it, he loves to talk about money.
And and so does he get a percentage of you guys getting to tour under the name Dead Kennedys too?
Yes, he does. And also like merchandise and stuff, like the T-shirts and stuff. He gets a piece of that too.
It's such a cool logo, FYI. That guy did a great job. Just got to give you a high five all these years later. Love the logo, dude.
Right. Yeah. Actually originated as tape on my guitar.
Really?
Yeah, the two cross and then a piece of tape down the side, and then Winston Smith put the circle around it.
Right.
And,
so you really came up with the artist, what you're saying, and he took it to the finalized form?
Well, I had a tape on my guitar. Yeah, I mean that's what makes it easy to draw. You do two cross lines and then one down the side. You can do that in tape or a pencil. Yeah.
Nice, bringing it all the way back to the beginning. What a great way to end it on. I give you a big hug, a big high five. I hope it wasn't too much of a pain in the ass to talk to me today, Ray.
No, it's cool. I didn't know you were gonna go back way in the day. I would have
put your way back hat on.
Yeah, I would have looked at some stuff to refresh my memory.
I like catching you off guard. I think we got some good juicy stuff in there. Would you be willing to just drop an ID in the mix for me?
Yeah. Okay. Let me.
And I can do it real easy. Like I can just read you a couple. I read you something, you read it back to me, and I cut it all together later. And that way, it's like super easy to do over the phone.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, I'm kind of seasoned to doing this, so it'll be kind of like a repeat after me. Hey, it's East Bay Ray of the Dead Kennedys.
Hey, it's East Bay Ray of the Dead Kennedys.
You're tuned to the only show that matters.
You're tuned to the only show that matters.
With my good friend Dave Lawrence.
With my good friend Dave Lawrence.
Hey, brother Dave, it is exactly your favorite time of day.
Excuse me. Hey, brother Dave, it's exactly your favorite time of day.
Have a thoughtful 420, brother.
Have a thoughtful 420?
Yeah, I do a bit every day, and we play something at that time of day. So it's just, and I got every.
Okay, let me do that again.
Yeah.
420. I understand. What was the line again?
It'll say, say it as enthusiastically as you can. Say, have a thoughtful 420, bro.
I'm not gonna do the bro.
You don't have to do the bro. No problem.
Now I'm getting too giggly. Have a thoughtful 420.
One more time.
Have a thoughtful... Well,
right here, we'll do it. We'll change it. We'll say, I hope it's a great 420 for you.
I hope it's a great 420 for you.
And then just say, aloha.
Aloha.
Awesome.
But you don't do the call letters?
No, everybody gets individual stuff on this thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, actually, I can do if you do this, actually, this would be a nice one. Because there's a second thing that has to do with the call letters, but if you want to do one now, you can just say, on listener-supported Hawaii Public Radio.
On listener-supported Hawaii Public Radio.
Fantastic. And then it leads into what I was really, the end is always this. We are public radio, and I always just end with this note with you. When you're in town, I'd love it if I could, if you'd be available just for a moment. I could do it at the hotel lobby. I can do it before the gig, just if I can record a brief in-person thing with you. Would that be possible, or is that a pain in the ass?
I really don't know what the situation is. I haven't looked at the details.
Okay, well, keep it in mind. And then in terms of recording something, do you listen to public radio?
Do I listen to public radio? Yeah.
Can you just say in a testimonial form why do you think public radio is important?
Oh.
Just something that, if you feel, because you're that kind of guy, and so if you do have anything that you think you get out of public radio, any reason you think it's important to support, why you think people should support it, why it's an essential part of life.
Well, I haven't articulated that, so I don't.
It doesn't even have to be articulated. It's better to be off the cuff. Why do you listen to it? What do you listen to?
Well, to be honest, I don't listen to it that much.
Sure. So it's rare in your life.
It's rare, yeah.
Okay. It's no problem. Well, I mean, like I said, I'll.
Not much. I like music better, I guess.
Say again. What was that?
I said I like music better than talk radio.
Yeah, sure. No, we play a lot of music too, so I know what you're saying. But I just had to just see where your head was at. Well, I'll reach out to your people, and if there's any way that you can do anything while you're here for just a moment, that would be great. But either way, I really appreciate getting to talk with you. Your music is inspirational, and I thank the world of you for keeping the name out there and doing what you do. I can't wait to see you live.
Well, thank you. Yeah, you have Landon's contacts?
That's the one.
Yeah, he's the one to. He's actually going to. I believe he's going to be the tour manager for that trip because he likes Hawaii too. So, But anyway, so things can be arranged from him. He'll know our schedule.
Yeah, well, I'll work it out through him. And either way, we're looking forward to having you here. I leave you with a lot of appreciation. Thank you for being so available. Some great stories you told.
All right, thanks. All right, take care. Bye.
Aloha, Ray.
Hey, it's East Bay Ray of the Dead Kennedys. You're tuned to the only show that matters with my good friend Dave Lawrence.